Everything's upside down, including the cat, the weather, the cat. It's snowing in Delaware. It's raining in Vermont. We gotta get out the door and talk about this. Come on, put yourself right side up. T-Rex, you ready to go? He's like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Let's go out the door. You're invited. You want to come out the door? Under the dining room table. Is that the sun? How can the sun be out in this big, huge storm we're having? It's nowhere near over. Come on, Steve. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You ready, Rex? Let's do this. Jump 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Yes. And take off. Yesterday I made a mistake not letting him jump 3 times, and Steve just goes for it. It's 48 degrees right now at 10 o'clock. It's sunny, even though that thing says wind, rain, and sun. Yeah, we're going to have all of that coming up. And the barometer, 48 degrees, but the barometer is 29.32. Convert that to metric. It's 993 millibars. Since when do you have barometric pressure near 990 millibars and have sunshine and light wind? I hear stuff like this happens in the eye of a hurricane, but this is not a hurricane. This is the Stretch Armstrong storm. I say stretched because it stretched from South Dakota to east of New England in the last 3 days, and today is day 3 of what ultimately turns into a 5-day storm. Hopefully you can hear me better. So sorry for that wind issue yesterday. I made some mistakes by using this handheld I got my camera on a handheld device, so it kind of sticks up in the air as opposed to cupping it with 2 hands. Hard to describe. All right, so what's going on? I'm late today for a number of reasons. One is there's so much weather, and I fell asleep kind of early last night watching the Bruins game. I wish I had watched that football game because I know when I woke up, I was seeing the highlights of the snowstorm that came into Cleveland yesterday. And so I started looking around, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing on X. Ralph in, where's it, Danbury, Connecticut. It was about 1 or 2 in the morning. He's out there taking pictures. We love him. He's Ralph the Weather Nut, and he got his first close to 1 inch of snow last night after midnight, and that was really not in the forecast to come. The snow in lower elevations in Connecticut, and then this morning in Ridgefield, I think that's elevation in Connecticut, enough to shovel, and gorgeous wintry scenes. And we talked about how not only is it the Stretch Armstrong storm, it's the upside down storm, like Steve playing just a few minutes ago. It's upside down, being that it's snowing this morning in places like Maryland, and the snow reports are coming in from North Carolina and Tennessee, and just too many to mention. So many great Christopher Case in New Jersey. It's his birthday, chasing and finding snow in the higher elevations to the southwest of New York City. And then our man about Jay Peak, Vermont, Josh Worth, has friends everywhere, and he shared this from people that are hiking up Elk Mountain in northeastern Pennsylvania. He says 15 inches of snow so far, and it's still coming. The satellite this morning shows a band of clouds that was so heavy rain for me yesterday or this morning at about midnight, and that has moved into northern New England. So now it is finally pouring rain from Pittsburgh, New Hampshire to Jay Peak, Vermont, but that rain will be changing to snow. And to the south of that band, there's clear sky here in Boston and on Cape Cod. It's not an eye, although it looks and feels like one. It's a dry slot in an upper level low and multiple surface low pressure systems. And you have this spiraling counterclockwise bands of ascending air. Switch to the radar. Ascending air makes your rain, green, and snow. And then descending air swirling in on the backside of these little lows, mesolows that are really deep, but they're small. And that descending air makes blue sky and sunshine. So it's going to be short-lived here. And it's like I was talking about for several days, very unstable because it's getting colder up in the sky from the south, and we're going to have billing cumulus and cumulonimbus clouds like those ones that are forming right now to the west of Boston, and this is rainbow weather. And sure enough, this morning we've had rainbows reported And where's that? Rainham, a rainbow in Rainham. Thank you for sharing on X. Credit you, I can't remember your name, but rainbow weather. And any one of these cumulonimbus that develop can also have some raindrops or snowflakes or some hail or some grapple. I'm gonna untangle the cats and dogs here. What's going on, Rex? Oh boy, of course they're tangled, because why wouldn't they be tangled? I think I'm gonna undo Steve. It is such a dynamic situation. This is only probably just about halfway through this storm for us. And here in the Boston area, it's going to change rapidly after this beautiful day today. And yeah, surprises abound. Surprised of that snow in Connecticut and surprised how pretty it is today here. Look at that. Not one cloud right there. Sinking air, but there's a new burst of precipitation coming at us from the south. Go right to the HRRR on this. So the probably, what is it, quaternary, fourth redevelopment of this system over southeastern New York is going to turn into a quinary, 986 low, and it's going to just wobble around there, New York and Connecticut and Massachusetts, and it's going to redevelop south of Long Island, and that rain band eases in far northern New England, and now your cold air is coming in on a southerly flow, and you're getting this dry slot, and then the blue is snow advancing and just kind of decaying in western New England, but now this new rain band coming into eastern New England tonight starts turning into blue, which is snow now. Here's our turn for snow in our mountains tonight and tomorrow, and I'm going to pause it, stop it right here at 15Z tomorrow. This is 10 a.m. now with the time change, and that's a 976 millibar low in the Gulf of Maine. And this isn't the crazy Euro or NAM, this is the HRRR, which is supposedly much higher quality, and that is an incredibly deep storm. So that's going to be incredibly windy from the north tomorrow. And with these bands of rain, and even I think it may actually snow a tiny bit in Boston with that intensity and these bands wrapping around. Now we've got from all levels of the atmosphere wind from the north and northwest, and tomorrow's going to be the windiest. And it may be even wetter than today. Let's just kind of finish this out before I talked about how much rain. Let that go through tomorrow night, and now you have some upslope snow in northern New England. Even though it says that the snow stops at J Peak, I think it's going to keep going. I did my first J Peak blog and column for about 6 inches of snow at J. Did that little wind gust interrupt? All right, I'm going to try and hide from that southwest wind. I'm going to do the rest of the report from right here. I didn't put any birds, any seed in the feeder, so there's no birds coming to see us. That's the weather stick. It's pointed down. It knows we're not done with this situation. Actually, it's just really wet from that rain. Oh, yeah, how much rain? Actually, how much snow? The purple dots are snow. So this is what I mean by a stretched out storm. It started snowing in South Dakota 2.5 days ago. And the purple dots extend all the way to the mid-Atlantic states, where it continues to snow today. And Chicago area picked up about 4 inches. And that lake effect yesterday in Ohio off of Lake Erie, that was about 5 inches near Cleveland. And then the center of the upper low and the surface low near the Catskills of New York, a foot of snow in the Catskills and the Poconos, and that's still going. And then there was one report there in southwestern Connecticut in Danbury and Ridgefield. So that's the snow aspect. And as for rainfall, I'm just going to focus on a few spots here in the Northeast. And what a way to bust up a drought. Not only has it rained for more than a day, and this is the 2-day total, with close to 2 inches in parts of Connecticut. And then in Cape Cod, just shy of an inch. In Rhode Island, it looks like a little over, was that 2 inches or close to 2 inches in Greenville. And then here in the Boston area up through southern New Hampshire into Vermont. That's 2 inches there in Vermont. I can't remember what town that was. Watertown, Massachusetts. That was at about 1.8. So 1 to 2 inches of rain, and the guidance on tomorrow says there may be another inch of rain pretty close to Boston. And far northern Vermont had 0.01 at J yesterday. Josh says it was a nice day. They only had some drizzle. So it's a real dynamic situation. It's going to keep on going. What else did I want to show? How about the the HRRR future rainfall. Take that kind of same guidance we just looked at and turn it into quantitative precipitation. And you can see we're probably mostly done in parts of western and southwestern New England, but here comes the precipitation in through Massachusetts and much of southern New Hampshire and northern Vermont and the state of Maine tonight and tomorrow. And it looks like there are some areas of purple on there with another close to an inch of rain possible. Parts of Maine, another 1 to 2 inches. So that'll be, tomorrow will be day 3. And even on Sunday, there's still going to be some light precipitation around. That'll be day 4 of this storm for New England, day 5 of the entire Stretch Armstrong complex. And snowfall amounts, as I already stated, I went for 6 inches at J. The summit may get 10, the base may get 3, something like that. Highly elevation dependent, and I think there are going to be more surprises in the snowfall department. We may see their first flakes falling places like Blue Hill Observatory and Wachusett, and maybe even right down if it snows, if it rains or precipitates hard enough. You might even see some fat flakes in the air right down here on my own webcam right here. And the snowfall amounts, interesting, if I put the cursor over Lincoln, New Hampshire, this is a little unusual to have Lincoln, New Hampshire, forecast to get the most, 15 inches. Loon, you open, you spinning lifts, Waterville? Oh, while we're talking about the White Mountains, the presidentials last night, Mount Washington is cold. And this is what I'm talking about, cold up in the sky. The summit in the low 20s, and there was a wind gust this morning, just past 7 a.m., of 98 miles per hour. Big deal, Tim. That happens quite often. From the east? No, that does not happen very often. From the east, usually your big winds on Mount Washington are from the north or the west or even sometimes the southwest, but from the east just means there's an incredibly strong storm at all levels of the atmosphere to the south of the mountain. And often, if this were the middle of the winter and it was cold enough, that would have meant that place like Sunday River and Cranmore would have come in with 10 to 20 inches of snow, but it was just a little too warm. So anyhow, that snow level is coming down. Mount Washington picked up about 1.5 inches of snow, and I'm sure it's just a cake of ice. You probably need crampons just to walk around on the deck right now. So definitely a dynamic situation, and oh my goodness, I didn't even check the Euro looking at next week. I was so involved with what's happening around here today, tonight, and tomorrow. Let's take a little time out here, a breather, and check out the moon. There it is, the waning moon, which is running high in the sky. So pretty. Can you believe how nice it is? And look at the leaves on that tree. They're off the tree on the east side where the wind was yesterday here, gusting to 40 miles an hour, and then where it was in the lee of the roof, the leaves are still there, swirling around. And we're going to have a lot of wind tomorrow. We may have some wind damage and power outages tomorrow. And I'm looking up there at my tempests, and it said we had a wind gust of only 37 miles an hour there, so I'm not getting the most wind. How you doing, roses? You all right? The roses are still hanging in there, but I think we do get some garden freeze, frost, and maybe snow next week. And did my cup runneth over here? Yes, I did get more than 1 inch of rain. You can see that. So the way to measure that is it often, I know there's an equivalent there. So we picked up about 1.04, which is about 1.4 inches. And I think I might let this keep going till tomorrow, just because I want to see if I can get this thing up to 2 inches. And we had a 0.05 yesterday. So we're at about a 1.45, 1.5 inches of rain. And last night it was just really humming around here. And we may pick up another inch of rain. But there are the flowers. There's the celery and the tomatoes. Still thinking, oh, we got a chance. We might live here. So I did not check the Thanksgiving forecast. I know the Thanksgiving parade in Plymouth tomorrow now is looking wet and windy and cold. So you want your layers and your foul weather gear and whatever. Put something on your feet to keep your feet dry. It's a play-by-play, and I know I talked about doing a live YouTube yesterday, but things just kept happening. And of course, when you're the weatherman, your email box fills up with requests and things to do. Even though most of them are volunteer, I do love doing it, and I would love to do a YouTube. As the fact that I didn't get to next week. It is going to be stormy next week, and it is going to be colder, and it is going to look like winter in all the hills and mountains of New England, with multiple rounds of precipitation coming in and adequate numbers for snowmaking. I did lift the Boston 15-day. I did see this before, so I can show you that. And look at that, the up and down. And because those shaded areas of red and blue are not that wide, that indicates that the guidance is fairly consistent There's not a lot of ambiguity there. Otherwise, those would be real wide shaded areas. So it is definitely going to be colder with off and on rain and elevation snow, and maybe even snow right to the coast. And look at that hard freeze coming in right after Thanksgiving. So I will be shutting down my hoses and my outdoor shower now. I put more water on this garden in the last probably 35 days than I did in the last 2 summers. I mean, I didn't have to water it at all last summer, and then this just most recent summer, I had adequate rain here. I didn't have to water that much, but I want to have the worm farm all saturated, so I put hundreds of gallons of water on here since October, and so I'm not going to have to do that anymore, so we're going to shut down the outdoor hoses and my outdoor shower, probably another one today, and maybe tomorrow, and then I'm going to shut all that down and start going skiing next week. The and more from yesterday. All right, so that's all the weather I have until I go live, maybe. The and more from yesterday, kind of just looking at the sky and wondering, why isn't it raining harder? That first band of rain just completely evaporated around here, and then it really came in later in the day, and I went and met Charlie Orloff and got my tripod back, and big puddles and festive decorations at Derby Street Plaza there in Hingham. So that was kind of fun. And I'm definitely switching modes. I'm close to Christmas tree shopping now. All right, so here's the and more from yesterday, watching the birds. There's the wind from the south. Colder air coming in from the south, pressing down on the water right there. All right, see you in 24 hours, if not sooner. 2 o'clock. And I looked so bright a few minutes ago, it almost looked like the sun was gonna come out. That heavy band of rain that was on our doorstep 6 hours ago pretty much fell apart. It outran its fuel source, the center of the upper low. And since then, we've only picked up less than 0.05. But now it's coming down for real. Let this rain band begin. We're in the play-by-play. Sorry I didn't get to do a YouTube live, trying to write the J blog and chase some other things around. One of these days, I'll do a live YouTube, any minute. Pegged at 47 degrees. Yeah, I know, my dashboard lights. It's colder than the ocean temperature. And we've got the windshield wipers on full. And headlights too. Seat heat and steering wheel heat engaged. 47 degrees. First puddles in weeks. 4:12 p.m. and let's look at it. Well, the wind is from the right direction, coming off on the backside of that hill. It looks pretty secure. Looks pretty good. Nice little air hole right there. Let's see. She's sturdy as could be. Yet, I don't think the heavy stuff's coming in for a while. This is day 1 of about a 3-day event. The wind's going to be the worst tonight. Woo, says so. Woo, I say so. It's good. Oh, I love new gloves. Nice. These windows, on the other hand, letting in the breeze. Out the door at the store. Thanks to HKD. It's always snowing somewhere. Right now it's snowing about 5,000 feet over our head. And south in Pennsylvania. And I think the very top of the mountains in Vermont. Yes, this is fun, huh? Under the star. And no, not going to the Apple store. Happy to report. I'm going to meet Mr. Orloff for an adult beverage and get my tripod back. All right, I guess we're going to have to wrap it up early because it's getting so dark so early. Here at the Derby Street in Hingham. Just met Charlie. Got my tripod back. Tripod's not really working. Walking in the rain, singing in the rain. That guy making a video of me. Play us out, piano man, with time lapse. First rainy day in so long. I don't think we have the right shoes on. We didn't wear our rain shoes.
No, we certainly
Anyhow,
don't.
I need a hat and coat like that. Good to see you, Charlie.
Great to see you
All
too.
right.
Take care.
See you again soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, now play us out, Cap. Space time.